Welcome back. This time we're talking about ERMI. Over the years, we have had many clients who are suffering from ill health. They suspect mould as a possible cause and asked for an ERMI test. At first we were reluctant, for reasons we will explain, but ultimately we conceded the demand and began offering ERMI as an option. So, what is ERMI? For a really detailed description of ERMI, see the YouTube link below. We recommend that you watch that explanation, but if you don't feel like going to the trouble, here's our own brief overview of the key points. ERMI stands for Environmental Relative Mouldiness Index. The test was developed and patented by the USA EPA. Because it is patented, only licensed laboratories are allowed to use the ERMI process. This means that ERMI samples that are taken in the UK have to be processed in the USA. The ERMI test is based on dust samples. A minimum of 5 micrograms of dust is required. The sample is supposed to be taken using a dust collector cassette, which is designed to fit over the end of a vacuum cleaner hose. The test should be conducted using a single dust collector cassette from 2 carpeted areas in the property. It is meant to be a composite sample. The sample needs to be taken from the carpets in the main bedroom and the main living room or lounge. A link to a video showing how an ERMI test should be conducted is also shown below. There is another test called HERTSMI, Health Effects Roster of Type-Specific Formers of Mycotoxins and Inflammagens. The acronym is a bit of a contortion but attempts to highlight moulds that hurts me. To all intents and purposes, it is the same test as ERMI. It just focuses on a smaller group of moulds considered to be particularly hazardous to human health. Back to ERMI. So what does ERMI give us? ERMI is an MSQ PCR DNA technique. This DNA technique identifies the presence of moulds from a panel of 36 of the most common species of mould and extrapolates the quantities of these contaminants. 26 of these moulds are the usual suspects associated with water damage, and the other 10 are the most common environmental moulds. It should be noted that while this is a broad range of moulds, this specific test does not detect any other moulds other than the 36 on that panel. However, the test is relatively low cost for the number of moulds it identifies. When following the ERMI protocol, an ERMI score is provided. This score attempts to quantify the amount of mould in your home as a comparison with results from studies of over 1,000 homes in the USA. However, caution should be applied. Allow me to quote the US EPA. The EPA readily acknowledges that MSQ-PCR and ERMI have not been validated or peer-reviewed by EPA for public use. The agency considers MSQ-PCR and ERMI to be research tools not intended for public use. Consequently, there is a risk that the public may make inappropriate decisions or take unnecessary actions regarding indoor mould on the belief that MSQ-PCR and ERMI results were based on research tools fully validated and endorsed by the EPA for public use. End of quote.
Quickly cutting in with an editor's note, while pulling together the videos and slide materials, I found this. If you ask the internet, should I test or sample for mould in my home using ERMI, you get this result from the EPA itself. Last updated late October 2022, that's about 6 weeks ago from the time I'm recording this message. In the EPA's own words, the answer is no. The Environmental Relative Mouldiness Index, or ERMI, developed by US Environmental Protection Agency researchers, is a research tool and is not recommended for use except as a research tool. So, with this plainly said by the inventors and licensors of the technology, back to Adam.
In summary, not for public use. Furthermore, if an ERMI test is conducted using a Swiffer cloth, even if it is a sterile Swiffer cloth, or the test is not conducted using a dust collector cassette from 2 carpets, the test is not a bona fide ERMI. Instead, it will be a SIM, a survey of indoor moulds, or a SIAM, species ID of airborne moulds, not an ERMI, and any ERMI score derived from this qPCR method should be viewed with a much more critical eye, and that is why we were reluctant to offer ERMI and will still not do so without highlighting the proper context. Nevertheless, ERMI may still be useful for some applications, so we do offer it. However, we do also offer alternative DNA sampling methods, one of which is suitable for consumers to do for themselves. This will do for now. We'll talk about other methods another time. Thank you for watching.